Hi. One of our members has asked a question with regards to working with bands. I'd like to share one or two of my thoughts with regards to my experience of working with bands. Let me say first and foremost and upfront that working with bands can be quite a pleasant experience. A good band, a professional band, a band who do what they say they're going to do and who play to an audience can add that extra dynamic that only live entertainment can provide. Now, unfortunately, in my experience, apart from maybe Christmas parties, generally speaking, working with bands has not proved a very successful experience. Particularly if we talk about weddings. I can understand why a bride would want to have a band, and in theory it's a great balance to have live music and the DJ working together in perfect harmony. But there's the problem. Working together in perfect harmony doesn't happen very often. Why? Well, I guess first of all, most bands don't rate DJs. To them, we have no talent. In their eyes, we simply play somebody else's music and we just select music and press play. They believe they have the talent, which they do. Most people cannot play musical instruments. A lot of people can't hold a tune. However, over the years, working with bands create some issues. The first one that we all know is that bands seem to adhere very much to the laws of human nature. And the one I'm thinking of at the moment, with my tongue very firmly planted in my cheek, is that nature will fill a vacuum. So it doesn't matter how big that empty space is on the stage, the band will fill it. And they won't leave any space for a DJ. You'll always end up on the side of the stage or in an opposite corner. And invariably bands, when they know a DJ is around, well, they'll try their utmost to do one or two things. Either to totally obliterate him and cover him with all of their equipment, or they will try and minimize the amount of equipment that they need. Oh great, we can use your lighting then, can we? Or can we go through your system? And, you know, all of these things, which doesn't quite work. For me, the biggest issue with bands is playing over the top of me. The number of times we've been set up, we've been ready to go, 7:30, playing background music, no sign of a band. Eventually the band will show up, they'll disrupt, they'll throw all their equipment all over the dance floor. You've got no chance whatsoever of getting anybody dancing early, and then when they are set up, they insist on playing over the top, particularly the drummer. I don't know why, but they feel then that they have to do a practice session, not a sound check like a professional band would do. And a lot of bands can do sound checks almost silently these days, particularly tuning their instruments. But no, these are the bands who basically do half their first set just because they've got the time and they're going to use the opportunity of somebody else's party to rehearse stuff they should have rehearsed before. And then we come to music selection and playlists. The good bands will always speak to the DJ up front. They'll provide a playlist for him, if not in advance, but certainly on the night, and they'll stick to it. That's great. That means then we know we can complement, support, contrast, whatever. Unfortunately, a lot of bands don't communicate with us, so the DJ does what he's supposed to do, and then the band complain that you've just played half of their set. So, the other thing about bands is unless they are a really good band and you fully understand them and you know what they're doing and you know their kind of music, then bands cramp my style. They disrupt and disjoint the night. it's nothing worse than getting started and stopping and started and stopping. It restricts the amount of interaction that we can do, particularly at a wedding. It changes the flow. I think one of the questions was, at one point, I don't know whether it's the same topic, but whether we would allow a band or whether we thought it was a good idea for a band to finish the night. I can see lots of ways that it would be good if a band finished the night, but they'd have to be really strong and they'd have to be in the zone and they'd really need to know their clients. And generally speaking, most bands don't have that staying power. Live entertainers, not just bands, all entertainers, comedians, singers, duos, tribute acts, they all know that they can't keep that dynamic alive and kicking for much more than 40 minutes at a time. It's a human nature thing. It's what happens is that it's best to give them short, sharp pieces of entertainment where people's attention span and energy levels can be kept high. After that, energy levels will wane. It happens all the time. So they're not soft. They're not going to say, okay, yeah, we're going to do not just 2 sets, but we're going to do 3 sets and we're going to finish the night. The only way they could do that is if they know in advance, safety in numbers, that everybody's going to be with them at the time. And alas, that doesn't happen very often. Anyway, so there you go. 1 or 2 of my thoughts with working with bands. Can be a great idea in the right place at the right time. Have I worked with good bands? Yes, I have. 13-piece band, one in particular, Zoot Serious and Bellyful of Bop. I remember working with them, but they are the exception. Generally speaking, given the choice, if there's a band on, I'd rather skip. I'd rather pass. I'd rather work alone. But that's just me. Until the next time, see you later.